Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing too, Toph. Yeah, it's an opportunity to be selfish. It's 37 seconds.
This is what I mean. He's fucking dumb.
Oh no!
This is what I mean. He's so dumb.
All right. Where to start? A lot of guys are just like, what do they call them? What are those trads calling themselves? Leader servants or something? It's absolutely ridiculous. And they're like, yeah, my job is to serve my wife and her job is to revere me. And the girls don't, but they're like, yeah, I'll take all the servant stuff. For a lot of guys too, that first workout you do, that's like 45 minutes where nobody's allowed to talk to you. Nobody's allowed to bother you. You got to wait over your head. You're not required to think about anything else other than what's immediately in front of you. And you're doing something that's for nobody's benefit but your own. For a lot of guys, that's the first opportunity in their life. They get to be selfish and look out for their own best interest. And yeah, it's such a small thing. But if you can handle the small things, you can build on those, because that's how male self-esteem works. Everybody thinks guys just need to believe in ourselves. And that's men raised as defective women. That's where we think, oh, it's just got to believe in ourselves because we have vaginas and we grow babies. You're like, no, you don't. Women do that, and that's why they have to believe in themselves, because they have internal value, intrinsic value. We don't. For a guy, you got to do something. You got to do something that's harder than not doing it. You got to succeed at it, and then when you succeed at it, that emboldens you to try something else. And so yeah, that's how it starts. Get that first workout out of the way. Okay, that's great. Take that first shower, hopefully. Then from there, oh, we'll buy those first set of clothes. We'll do the first day of a good diet, and this. All these small little victories, small and easy. They're ridiculously easy. Anybody can do it. It's the same as like basic training. The first thing you learn, how do you wear your socks? They literally show you, this is how you make your bed. This is how you lace your shoes. They literally show you how to lace your shoes. There's a specific standard to lace your shoes. And you're like, that's such a trivial, useless activity. What does it matter? It matters. And then it builds on from there. This is how you disassemble your rifle. So it's done the same way. You can do it in the dark. This is how you clean your locker. This is how you iron your clothes. This is how you march in formation. This is how you do this. And eventually it gets to the point where you're in a very complex situation. Like in our case, we're pulling over suspected pirates, running an interdiction activity. And we've got our list of communiques we're supposed to give them based on the situation and that. Memorize the thing, know it off the top of my head, can completely do it. If they give you something different and hard to work with, we can fucking adapt to it. That's the point. All these little victories built to big ones. And that's how you build a great amount of confidence, to the point. And this was always like one thing I never realized at the time, but it was actually very funny in retrospect. I was very good at my job. My captain, very good at his job, hugely high standards. He had a bunch of dopey junior officers that he loved to shit on. And the fact that I made sure they held to their highest, I actually made officers cry. It was one of my little things. Like, yeah, bring him up there. He'll love it. Ryan will do it. But we were at Port Hardy or something like that, teenage pregnancy capital of Canada, and I was out with the combat officer. We were flirting with some chicks, and then we're like, oh, we're hungry, we're gonna get some taquitos, and sir, you want to watch them? We got the captain, Tulloch. He's like, yeah, you stay there, watch the girls. You go, yeah, sounds good. We're all hammered, so we go get the taquitos. We come back out, we're like, what the fuck, man, the girls are gone. He's like, hey, once they've kissed the captain, there's no more need for him. I sent them home. I just started laughing. But the next day, we're tying up, getting ready to leave, and I come on the bridge. I'm like, you cocksucker! I can't believe you cock-blocked me again. And then for me, it was just funny, and the whole crew just like, what the fuck did he just say to the captain? Captain's laughing at me, laughing his ass off. He's like, just sit down. You didn't have a chance anyway. And then we took off. But and I know this is a funny story, but that's the whole point, is that this competence leads to confidence. The feedback loop gets to the point where you have situations like this, which sound completely ridiculous, absolutely true, and it's something that you don't even think about. Exactly what I mean when I talk about Buddy with his gender reveal party. That situation there with the wife calling him a bitch in front of all of his friends, there was years of setup where he basically allowed this to happen the way it is. And sitting there stomping your feet when it's way too late is not the time to address it. Ideally, I hope, and if you guys have been following me for the years, you've been reading what I write, you've been internalizing the concepts I talk about in the books from the sidebar and from my own work and watching these podcasts, if you learn nothing else from any of this, I hope to think that 2 years from now, during your gender reveal party, or, you know, whatever they do now, I don't know what the LGBT things are doing now, and your wife calls you a bitch, that either A, she would never dream of doing that, or B, when it happens, you learn how to handle it properly without making yourself look like an idiot or nuking your life or kicking her off the podcast with the White Claw in hand. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's ideally where I'd like things to go. Now, I mean,
'79T 2458 Learning Corp, Little Red Riding Hood, take one.